We're getting down to the business end of the WTA Finals round robin stage as Aryna Sabalenka, Coco Gauff, and Iga Swiatek all face elimination. I'll talk about the recent results, preview the final round robin matches, and discuss all the potential semifinal qualifying scenarios. Marhaban Asmi, Christian Bass Knight, and welcome to Christian's Court, where I cover tennis from all angles. If you have not already, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you are notified whenever I post more WTA Finals content. So after losing her first three matches to Jasmine Paolini in 2025, Coco Gauff got yet another revenge win over the Italian as she won their second round robin match at the WTA Finals 6-3, 6-2. This was very similar to that Paolini Sabalenka match that we saw earlier in the tournament. As Gauff, she got out to a strong start. She led 4-1, and then Jasmine fought back to get it back on serve. And she had a strong chance to level it at 4-all, and as she had a 40-love advantage when serving down 3-4, but she let it go, and then Coco kind of ran away with the match from that point. I knew this was just going to be a tough match for Paolini, aside from her having illness concerns and being sick, but the higher ball bounce in Riyadh due to the altitude in the city, I knew it would just be difficult for Paolini due to her size, and then also Coco already hits that high spinning forehand, which gets even further out of the Italian strike zone, and Paolini also was not able to apply pressure at all to Gauff from the ground, and Coco just had a lot more time on her forehand, as when Coco has time on her forehand, she doesn't really have the same errors. That's why she's so successful on clay. And the errors just were not flying from that side, as we witnessed in that Pegula match. Also, Gauff's kick serve was very tough for Jasmine to handle, and Gauff went back to hitting more high percentage first serves, not really going for as many big first serves or the aces, and it worked well for her. She only served 3 double faults, and again, for a reminder, she served 17 double faults in that match against Pegula. And Gauff, she ended up winning 67% of her first serve points, and she won 75% of her second serve points, which is it's incredible, but it's also a stark contrast from Jasmine, who won just 21% of her second serve points. Now, moving on to talking about Sabalenka Pegula, we really needed this one because we really haven't had a good quality match yet from start to finish, at least until this match. Aryna, by the way, scored the victory, winning 6-4, 2-6, 6-3. And it was a strong opening set from Sabalenka, I'd say. Aside from a wobble when she tried to serve it out at 5-3, she was in good control for most of it. Her winner to unforced error ratio was pretty decent, 14-17, while Pegula, it was 5-7. So there you can see that Sabalenka was dictating and having a lot of success doing so. Now in the second set, I mean, it was obviously 6-2 for Pegula, which indicates a pretty straightforward set, but it was much more tight than what the scoreline entails. But overall, Pegula played just great tennis. She stepped it up a little bit more, hitting 12 winners to 7 unforced errors, while Sabalenka, she only hit 5 winners to 13 unforced errors. And I do think that she wasn't being quite as aggressive as she could have been in this set. And Sabalenka, though, she could have made it more competitive than what it was. She had 2 break points at 1-2, and then also 2 more break points at 2-5 when Pegula ultimately successfully served out the opening set at 5-2. But Sabalenka just did not really have a lot of success behind her first serve in the second set. She won just 43% of her first serve points, which is not usual at all for the world number one. And I think a lot of that was due to Sabalenka just not hitting her spots well on her serve. She went a little bit too much to the body of Pegula, which wasn't working well because the American was already returning so well. Now, looking at set number 3, it really looked like Pegula was on her way to scoring a second straight set victory over Sabalenka, as Aryna, she was getting heated, and even her coach Anton Dubrovov left mid-match. Sabalenka, she went down an early break, but as she said afterwards, she went even bigger when she was down and really just played go big or go home tennis, and it worked. She went for the lines, and she was catching the lines, and it was just unbelievable shot making too. Just also that running backhand down the line at 2-all love 15 was insane. But ultimately, again, Sabalenka, it paid off for her. I think in Wuhan, she went for a little bit too much and it didn't work. Maybe that's due to her that being her first tournament since the U.S. Open, and maybe there's a little bit more rust. But I think here it worked in Riyadh also because maybe the indoor conditions helped but also I think she just had that rust shaken off because she had more matches under her belt at that point. But looking at the final stats, Pegula had the cleaner sheet with 23 winners to 25 unforced errors. Meanwhile, Sabalenka, it looks a little bit sloppier, 28 winners to 44 unforced errors, but Pegula committed 17 more forced errors, which kind of tells a little bit more of the story of the match. And one mutual of mine tweeted this, and it's really all the truth, but Sabalenka and Pegula really is an underrated rivalry. Yes, Aryna leads the head-to-head. It's pretty dominant in the Belarusians' favor, 9-3, but like all of their matches at least were all high quality competitive matches, even the ones that ended in straight sets, namely the US Open final from 2024. That's one of the best finals that we've had this decade, and really we're just guaranteed to have a treat. Like, these two always push each other to bring their best tennis from one another, and even Pegula agreed. But now observing what's next for the Steffi Graf group, of course, Jasmine Paolini is officially eliminated, but Sabalenka, Pegula, and Gauff are all still in contention. Now, looking at Aryna Sabalenka's qualifying and what she needs to do, basically, if Aryna beats Coco, she wins the group, period, flat out. And Aryna will also advance if Paolini just wins a set. Now, there are two scenarios to where Sabalenka could still get eliminated despite her being the only undefeated woman right now as it stands. Now, if Aryna loses in straight sets and Pegula beats Paolini in straight sets, then Sabalenka is eliminated. And also, Aryna can still be eliminated if she pushes Coco to 3 sets and ultimately loses, and Pegula beats Paolini in straight sets. And in this specific scenario, it's interesting because it'll go down to the percentage of games won between all three of them. It's like a 3-way tie. So it'll be really interesting if that does happen, which I honestly could see happening. Now, for Coco Gauff, if Coco wins in 2 sets, she wins the group, and Pegula will play second in this case unless Jessica loses a set to Paolini. If Coco beats Aryna in 3 sets, and if Paolini gets a set over Pegula, then Coco wins the group and Aryna comes in second. Now, if Pegula wins in straight sets in this scenario, there's going to be that 3-way tie based on the percentage of games won throughout the round robin stage. And then if Gauff loses in 2 sets, she can only qualify as second if Pegula also loses in straight sets to Paolini. And then if Gauff loses in 3 sets, then the American can only qualify as second if Pegula also loses in 3 sets. Now, looking at Jessica Pegula's qualification hopes, it's interesting because Jessica, she cannot win the group. She can only qualify in second place. So she's kind of at a disadvantage heading into this match against Paolini. But if Pegula wins in 2 sets, there are multiple scenarios that need to happen. So if Pegula wins in 2 and Sabalenka wins, regardless, Pegula will qualify. And then if Pegula wins in straight sets and Gauff wins in 2 sets, she also will qualify. Now, if Gauff wins in 3 sets and, again, Pegula wins in 2 sets, then there's that 3-way race for the percentages of games won. Now, if Pegula wins in 3 sets, then Sabalenka must win or Jessica is eliminated. And then if Pegula loses in 3 sets, then Sabalenka must win in straight sets or Pegula is eliminated. And if Pegula loses in 2 sets, she's done, regardless. Looking at Sabalenka Gauff, this will be their 12th meeting, and currently Gauff leads the head-to-head 6-5. They've played twice this year, both meetings coming on clay. Sabalenka won the Madrid final 3-6, while Gauff got her revenge at the Roland Garros final, winning it 6-7, 6-2, 6-4. They played here, actually, in Riyadh in the semifinals last year, which Gauff won 7-6, 6-3, and that was a relatively decent match. I think Coco really ultimately broke Sabalenka down with her consistency and sublime court coverage, and I do think that Coco's weight of shot can be a strong asset to her like it was last year, being able to get the ball out of Sabalenka's strike zone and just disrupting the top seed's rhythm. I'm just giving my prediction right now, saving time. I'm going to be having Sabalenka and Pegula advance in 3 sets. Now, giving my predictions right now, I'm going to be having Sabalenka in 3 and then Pegula in 2. I think that talking about Sabalenka and Gauff, first of all, I think for one, Sabalenka is going to have that revenge factor on her mind, and she's not going to let up, knowing that she can still face elimination if she loses. Now, I think ultimately the reason why I picked Sabalenka is because I think this match will come down to the serve of Gauff. And Coco, she does, giving her credit, she knows how to elevate her level against the best of the best. And however, I do not think that if she comes out the same way she played against Paolini, just trying to go for higher percentage first serves with the the kick serves, I don't see that cutting it against Sabalenka. Sabalenka is going to make her pay in ways that Paolini just was not able to. And I think that Gauff is just going to have to go for her serve a little bit more against Aryna. And if in this scenario, I think that the double faults will be just too much of an issue. If Coco has a good serving day, like still going for it and limits the double faults, then she can get through. But to me, at this stage, that's going to be a big if. I say that because it just seems to me like a too big of an ask when you consider the struggles against Pegula, who applied much more pressure like Sabalenka will. I just ultimately don't think that Coco will be able to correct that well enough mid-tournament, especially against a Sabalenka, and the pressure will be on, but she could for sure prove me wrong. Looking at the Pegula-Paolini match, Jessica leads the head-to-head 5-1, although Jasmine won their last meeting, which was indoors at the Billie Jean King Cup Finals, pretty convincingly in straight sets as well. Now, Paolini has been struggling all tournament. She's been under the weather, reportedly, and then she's also had to play doubles, so that's a lot, and I know she's probably tired as well, so I just think that it'll be a tough ask, especially with how well Pegula has been playing and how consistent she is at this point. But she could maybe do something and have one last push, especially considering how she's already out and there's really nothing on the line at this point. She can play her best tennis. Now, moving on and talking about the Serena Williams group tomorrow, the scenarios are much more simple. Elena Rybakina already clinched the group. She already won the group since she already beat both Swiatek and Anisimova, who are the only other two women remaining in contention. Madison Keys was eliminated after she fell to Amanda Anisimova in 3 sets. Now, I think that Swiatek will be the favorite here. I'm going to ultimately have her win this in 2 sets. I haven't been that impressed by either woman. Iga against Rybakina. Yes, Rybakina played well, but Swiatek was very, very, very error-prone. Could that hurt her here? Yes, but I do think that Anisimova just has not been impressive, and I think it's going to take a level raise that might be just too much for her here at the finals, as well as I do think the conditions, I don't know if they favor her. I don't know if the altitude really is her friend right now. Maybe she'll find it in this match against Swiatek, but ultimately I think that Iga, even though she's been really off the tournament, I think that she will control it well enough to get the job done here. Now, in my last video, I got a few comments of y'all saying, oh, your energy is low. What's going on? I was traveling to Austin, where I am now, and I'm here for the Austin 125. And it's been a lot. I've been driving an hour and a half every day to cover the tournament, and I haven't yet spoken with any players yet. Hopefully that'll change when I return to site on Thursday, but just giving y'all some updates from that. The top seed, Iva Jovic, she won her opening round match against Adelina Fritzum, 6-2, 6-1, and she will next play Anastasia Gasanova in the round of 16. Now, the second seed, Alicia Parks, did not share the same success. She fell to Malaya Rapolu, 7-5, 6-4. Rapolu is ranked 461 in the world, exactly ranked 400 spots below Parks, who is 61 in the world, actually. And she actually has never played, or she had never played a top 100 player before competing against Alicia. So a huge win for her. Now, I was watching the match. I watched about 75% of the match, and Alicia, watching her up close, she just did not seem happy at all. She was complaining about, it seemed like she had just landed from China yesterday and she had to turn around and play. So I'm going to be giving her a lot of grace for that, wishing her the best. That's really all I have to say. I don't think she should have played this tournament. I was surprised she even played the tournament, so good on her for, I guess, honoring the commitment, but definitely not one of her proudest moments on court for sure. Alicia was not the only seed to fall in Austin. There's been a lot of carnage, even aside from the seeds. We're supposed to have, Peyton Stearns, Sloane Stephens, Katie Boser, Tomljanovic play. They all withdrew, so the field hasn't honestly been that great, but the 4th seed, Caroline Dolahide, lost. The 5th seed, Petra Marchenko, lost. The 7th seed, Whitney Osigwe, lost. And the 8th seed, Dasha Vidmanova, lost. And they all lost in the opening round, so it has not been a great tournament for the top seeds. Right now, Iva Jovic, Renata Zarazua, and Arancha Rus are the only 3 seeds who survived round 1. Now, moving on from Texas and talking about some rapid fire tennis news, it was announced today that the Nick Kyrgios and Aryna Sabalenka Battle of the Sexes exhibition is on, and that will be held in Dubai on December the 28th. And it's going to be held with some modified rules. The court on Sabalenka's side will be shrunk by 9% in both width and length to give Aryna more of an advantage and to balance the playing field. And then also both players will only receive one serve, and that's set to reduce Kyrgios' advantage when starting the point. Really, this reads as like a scheme by their agency Evolve to boost their stuff and whatnot. And I'm honestly not too mad at it. I think that this could be interesting, and it might bring more people to the sport in a way that we haven't seen yet. So it could be the start of something special. So I'm not hating on it right now. I'll just have to wait and see. Now, in more exciting news, Venus Williams, she will be returning to the tour in 2026 as she was announced as a wild card recipient at the ASB Classic in Auckland. She won the title in 2015, so it was great to see her back. And with this, it seems like we will see her in Australia. I know she said that she was doubtful of playing, but I mean, it makes no sense for her to travel to Auckland just to only play that tournament. I mean, maybe she'll enjoy a vacation in New Zealand afterwards, but chances are she's going to be playing the Australian Open. Also, I think she's supposed to be playing in their 1-point slam tournament as well. So excited to see V back in action in 2026. Now, another all-time legend, Novak Djokovic, he got underway at the Athens 250 tournament. He finally got revenge over Alejandro Tabilo as the Chilean won their last 2 matches. Granted, they were on clay, but he also beat him. Tabilo did in Monte Carlo, but this time Djokovic won 7-6, 6-1. And Novak also said that he is still undecided on whether or not he will play in the ATP Finals. So it's interesting. I don't know if he'll play or not, but Lorenzo Musetti, he will have to win the tournament, of course, in Athens if he wants to qualify for Turin. And the Italian Musetti, he will face Stan Wawrinka in his opening round match in Greece. That is all I have for this update video, and let me know your thoughts on the WTA Finals and who you think will qualify from both the Steffi Graf group and the Serena Williams group. Again, make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell so you are notified whenever I post more content. Thank you all so much for watching and for your support, and I will see you all next time here on Christian's Court.